food inflation is at 40.01%, and some experts have, warned that this trend is likely to persist for the rest of the quarter. So what do you suppose is driving this high inflation, and what can be done to slow it down?
So there are several drivers for inflation, and a lot of it has been reactionary, especially in the Nigerian system. That's what's made it so high. Lack of trust in the system. Nobody wants to lose. So people are just responding to what they think is the best approach. I'm a producer myself in Nigeria. I have a food manufacturing business in Nigeria, and we had to think at the rate at which the exchange rate is going, and maybe prices of some inputs in the market are going up. We have to increase our prices, and we need to increase it in a way that in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we wouldn't need to increase it again. So we took it a step further, if you get what I mean, because we had been burnt by just increasing it a little bit and then noticing that the market was still volatile, and we think it's going to cap out, and let's be at a point where we are sure that we're going to be at least profitable, even if it's with very slim margins, but not run at a loss. And I think that's what's played across several other sectors or several other elements of the supply chain, where people don't trust the system and the things that need to be put in place to stabilize the system. If things like this happen, or once the market starts to settle and people start to find that level of confidence that things are settling around this place, then the prices are going to fall again. And that's not to take away the things that I would say we can do nothing about. And my mom always say things without remedy should be without regard. So the influence of, well, they're not without remedy. There are certainly things that we can do, but not in our direct control. So climate, how can the effect of climate on maybe lower production rates and how it's influencing the kind of outputs that we're getting and all those things. There are things that we can do. And we can start by doing things that bring in trust into the system. The burden of that, a lot of that depends on the government and government policies.
Well, a few points to discuss before I let you go. Let's talk about the need to attract more investment in this space and the need to meet the demand for food globally. What should be done, to set the record straight? Also, I just want to also talk about the increasing global focus on sustainability. So talk to us about that. How can Nigeria balance the need for food security with environmental conservation and sustainable farming practices, without, breaching, the global warming code or the fight against climate change that is around the world now?
So thankfully, the world is becoming a lot more aware on the effect of our industrial practices on our environment and how it really is everybody's concern. And one of the biggest contributors to global warming and some of this environmental degradation and use of scarce resources is agriculture. And it's a no-brainer, right? Because there's one thing everybody must do, and that's eat. Everybody must eat. So having a good understanding of how our food production, consumption patterns are influencing the environment is critical. And not just environment now, because the environment does not exist independent of the social environment as well. The physical environment doesn't exist independent of the social. So when a lot of countries look at the agricultural practices, they're looking at it from a circular perspective, environmental impact, social impact, as well as profit. So it's the triple pillars of sustainability. And yes, we need to focus on environment, but if we are not touching on all three at the same time, we most likely will not come up with a solution that is sustainable. It will create pressure in another aspect that will force the system to crumble.
What a good place to leave the conversation.